Well, I had a guy, right, that I had grew up with, a kid named Donnie. He was a little older than us, and we used to look up to him. He had a band. He had, he's playing the drums, and he becomes a drug addict. One day I'm driving in my car, and I see Donnie walking down the street. He flags me down. It's pouring down rain. And I'm like, fuck. So I pull over. He's like, Chad, man, help me out, man. Give me a ride, man. He tells me he's going to a hotel. He can't go to his mother's house. I know his mom. I know his whole family. He says, look, man, give me a ride to the hotel, dude. I'm going to rehab tomorrow. My mom won't let me in the house. He had just stole their TV. He's explaining that stuff to me. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Horrible. So I'm like, all right, man, I'll give you a ride. And then as we're driving to this hotel, he's like, dude, could you buy me something to eat? I'm like, yeah, man, I'll buy you something to eat. We go to this place called Mark's Restaurant. And I remember this, man, like it was yesterday. We're sitting in Mark's, and I see these cars flying by. And I'm like, Donnie, man, how old are you? At the time, I'm probably 22. I think he might be 29. And he tells me, I'm 29. I said, see these cars passing by? I said, that's your life, bro. You used to be that dude when we were younger. Now you're just out here on the corner, dude, pimping your girl and smoking crack. Look at your clothes. And he's like, look, dude, when I get out of rehab, will you give me a job? And he's talking about for my roofing company. Back then I had a roofing and siding company too, right? And I said, yeah, man, give me a call. We're doing a bunch of tear-offs. He eats, so I drop him off at the hotel, give him my card. 2 weeks later, I get a call from Donnie. He leaves the rehab. He's like, yeah, man, I completed. I don't realize it's 2 weeks. I don't remember any of this shit until I get my paperwork, right? And he's like, Chad, look, man, the people that I'm staying with right now, he's working for me now. We're doing these tear-offs, and, he's an asset at the time. He's like, look, dude, man, can you help me out? I have nowhere to go. These people where I'm at, I'm really trying to do the right thing. I don't want to get high. They're getting high. I haven't gotten high. Can you let me stay at your house in the basement for, 2-3 weeks so I get on my feet? And I'm like, dude, I don't know if my wife's going to go for that, bro. And he's like, come on, man, please, man. So eventually I'm like, all right, dude, I'm going to let you stay here. You're clean. This is a kid that I looked up to when I was a kid. I liked this kid. He was my boy, man. He was my buddy, right? So I let him stay there. One day he leaves. He meets this chick, Lisa Gambino, right? He's out with this chick, Lisa, and he's hanging out with her. He doesn't show up the next morning for work. My wife calls me at like 10 o'clock. She says, hey, Donnie's here. I said, hey, tell him to come here. Come to the job site. She's like, all right, I'm going to tell him. So she tells me, says he's coming. He don't show up. I call back like an hour later, like, yo, is the kid there? Did he come back? She's like, he did come back, said he didn't have a ride. He needed some change to catch the bus. So she gave him some change. He still never shows up. I get home later that day and I find out, man, he stole like 4 ounces of crack out of my house, right? Out of the kitchen cupboard. I used to keep it in the cupboard, bro. So he grabs the 4 ounces of crack, takes off. He's out on a binge. Eventually, he's all geeked out. He calls the cops and says, look, he's afraid of me. I mean, back then we did some bad things. He calls the cops and says, look, man, I robbed Chad. I can help you guys if you want to get him. And at this time, they actually have a little investigation going on me, but this really opens the door. And he says, if you guys give me the money to pay Chad back, I can get him. And that's what they did. They gave him the money. He met me at the mall. He paid me. He's like, oh, man, what happened to the house? I heard the house got busted over there. He's recording all this stuff. And that's how my case opens up, man. I took a dude off the street to try to help him. And he robs me and then sends me to prison for, I sent myself to prison, but
right.
He opened the door for that. And then I get out of jail, right, Matt? And I'm out about 5 months. I end up buying a 2018 S5 Audi. And I just bought it. I pull in this gas station and I hear someone say, oh shit, that's Chad Marks. And I look over and I know it's him instantly. He's like, hey man, you know who I am? You remember me? He's like, I'm sorry, man, for what I did, man. And I'm like, yeah, man, I know exactly who you are. He's like, please, man, don't hurt me, man. And I looked at him. I said, dude, that's the same shit you said on that recording at the mall. Please don't hurt me, bro. And now you're saying this shit to me again. I said, I know exactly who you are. I said, I'm not going to do nothing to you, man. You helped take 18 years of my life, man. I said, and look at you, man. You weigh about 100 pounds. You're dirty. You're dingy.
Still on the street. Still do the same thing over and over again.
And his girl's in the passenger seat, no teeth. And she's probably a prostitute. And I just look at him like, look where your life's at. Look where my life's at. And I've only been out 5 or 6 months. And I'm doing great. Karma's a motherfucker, bro. And I said, I'm not going to hurt you. And I just let it go, man. I walked away, man. And it was probably one of the hardest things I ever did in my life, man. I've been a revengeful person. At times, I wasn't always a nice guy. I was a violent person in prison for maybe the first 6 or 7 years in prison because you have to be. I'm in Big Sandy. I'm in USP Pollock. Mm-hmm. I'm in USP Lee. I'm in dangerous places. But I turned my life around. And that was a turning point for me to see this dude. And, man, I'm not going to lie to you, dude. It took everything for me to walk away and not put my hands on this cat, man. And I wanted to.
You know, because I mean, we've talked a little bit, and I told you, you just don't like. I don't see you. Since when we've talked, like I don't see you, the character that I guess you were, the person you were. I don't see you like that. But I mean, but obviously, there's things that I did clearly that I certainly, people, my girlfriend can't believe some of the stories that I say. She's like, you just would never do that.
Yeah.
But but obviously things change. It's funny because when I first got locked up, man, I hated everybody. Everybody had rolled over on me. Everybody had done me wrong. I shouldn't be here. I didn't deserve this. And, but after going through, prison, when I got out, I pretty much think I contacted every single person in my case while I was in the halfway house and apologized to them. I apologized to this chick, Allison, who cooperated with the government against me, apologized to this chick, Amanda, apologized to my buddy, Travis, who I grew up with. We were best friends. He worked with the task force that busted me. Told him I was sorry for putting him in that position, that I know he did the right thing. He had a daughter. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I had that whole kind of just totally turned around where it's like, same thing. I put myself here. Nobody put me here,
No, I hear you. We make those choices, but some other people sometimes open the door to let it in. You know what I mean?
No doubt. No doubt. But, I just can't live the rest of my life hating people. That's no good for you. It's no good for anybody.
I tell people all the time, man, I deserve to go to prison, Matt. 100%. I deserve to go to prison. But at the age of 24,
40 years?
I didn't deserve 40 years, man.
I always say that too. I always say, no, I had it coming. I figure I deserved getting about a 10-year sentence. And then, then you do RDAP. I figured I'd do I probably should have done 6 years in prison, something like that. That would have been a strong deterrent. But yeah, 26 years, giving me 26 years. Like, that was insane. Giving you 40 years. You're 24 years old. You're just a baby.
The best years of my life gone, forever gone. You'll never get them back, man.
Well, so what happened? So you went to prison. You wrote a book. You started doing legal work. How long did it take for you to realize you had a story worth telling? How long did that take?
So I'm in the hole in 2008, right? My cellie gets stabbed in USP Big Center. Not 2008, 2009, I think it was. My cellie gets stabbed, right? He gets stabbed by the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas and the Aryan Brotherhood. They think he's someone else, that he's not the person they think he is.